Act your age. As a volunteer at ALACCA, it will be extremely helpful for you if you understand the stages of childhood and the different capabilities that the children have as they progress from the youngest campers to the oldest. This workshop will help you to understand those differences. The youngest group of campers that we'll deal with are the 6 through 8-year-olds. These are the children that will be attending the 2, 3, 4 camps, and this is likely their first time staying at camp away from home. As a result of that, they will need very much tenderness and care from everyone that works with them at camp. Physically speaking, these children are just beginning to master the physical skills of their bodies. As a result, they have better control of the large muscles like arms and legs than they do small muscles like fingers. As a result, they are going to struggle with things like working with a pen or pencil or scissors and may need assistance with those things. They also have boundless energy, and they need to have lots of movement time to handle their own energy levels. At this age, it is not out of the question to allow them a time to run and jump in the middle of another activity simply to help them settle down and pay attention. Socially, 6 through 8-year-olds are just learning how to be friends with others, and they may have several best friends at one time without realizing that this may be a contradiction to other people. They are becoming more aware of their peers and their opinions, and they are just beginning to experience empathy. However, they are still primarily wrapped up in themselves, so they need help understanding how their actions impact other people. At this age, they are still very family-oriented, and we want to capitalize on those family relationships. Emotionally, 6 through 8-year-olds see fairness as being nice to others so that they will be nice to you in return. As you can see, it is a very self-centered, self-focused activity base. They seek parental approval, but they are starting to become freer from their parents. These children also tend to behave in ways to avoid punishments. They know very well the consequences of actions, and they are able to comprehend those cause and effect arguments. Use that to help them to understand their actions and to control their behavior. Intellectually, 6 through 8-year-olds are able to generalize from their own experiences regarding the things that they see. They are more interested in the process that they are involved in than the product, and they tend to lose interest in things if the process takes too long. Their thinking is based on reality and accuracy. They are very concrete in their thinking. They are just beginning to understand cause and effect, and they need to handle one mental operation at a time. Complex operations and thought processes do not typically work well with them, so keep things simple for their sake. They are able to distinguish between reality and fantasy, though they may need a little bit of help in making those connections. The next group of campers are the 9 through 11-year-olds. These are the campers that will be attending the 4, 5, 6 camp. Physically, they are increasing their large muscle development and balance, and like the younger group, they have boundless energy and will need ways to use that energy. They are increasing their manual dexterity and small muscle coordination, and so capitalize on that. Allow them to challenge themselves with fine motor skills with their fingers. These children are also maturing at different rates between boys and girls, and so be patient with them as you recognize a lack of maturity on the part of some. Socially, 9 through 11-year-olds generally see adults as the authority figures in their lives, and this will help you in your dealings with them at camp because they naturally will look to you as an authority figure. They believe punishment should be a direct consequence of misdeeds. They also follow rules out of respect for authority. At this age, they feel intense loyalty to a group, and they prefer to work in cooperative activities, so team activities and games are good for this age group. They are able to use reasoning to solve problems, but they're still at the beginning stages of that. Help them to master those skills. Emotionally, 9 through 11-year-olds admire and imitate older boys and girls, and so your high school helpers at camp will be a huge influence on these children. They're beginning to develop decision-making skills, and they are beginning to take responsibility for their own actions. At this age, they like to emphasize the similarities with their friends, and they are just beginning to question parental authority. Because of this, they need the involvement of caring adults, and your time with them at camp can be a huge benefit to help their parents to be able to guide them through these turbulent middle years. They make comparisons with others that at times may erode their self-confidence, so please be careful how you compare them with other campers. With 9 through 11-year-olds, intellectually they have a wide variance in their academic abilities. Some may still struggle with reading, while others read very easily and openly. They have an increased attention span, but they do quickly change their interests, so don't be surprised if they drop right out in the middle of something that they're doing. They're beginning to think logically and symbolically, but they still prefer concrete ideas. They're just beginning to learn to use good judgment for themselves, so help them to think through good ideas and bad ideas. They see things in absolutes. It's right or wrong. It's fabulous or disgusting. There tends to be no middle ground with this age group. At this age, they want to explore and investigate their world, and so the nature trails and the river edge are very exciting places for them, and use that to help them see God's creativity and explore the wonder of what God has made. They are interested in collections and hobbies, and they may express their feelings through creative writing or drawing at this age. The next group of campers are the 12 through 14-year-olds. These are the middle schoolers. Physically, there is a wide range of sexual maturity and growth patterns between genders and among groups at this age. They have rapid changes in their physical appearance, and as a result, they may experience clumsiness and personal concern over their appearance. Socially, 12 through 14-year-olds are beginning to be interested in activities with the opposite sex. They are looking more to their peers at this age than to their parents for social interactions, and they seek acceptance and trust by those that they are close to. These children also tend to reject ready-made solutions from adults in favor of their own. Don't be afraid to allow them to think through solutions to issues and help guide them through those decisions. Emotionally, middle schoolers are concerned about their physical development and their emerging sexuality. They see themselves as always being on center stage. And they are working on a sense of continuity between their inner self and their outer self. At this age, they are striving for independence, yet they want and need help because they are in that awkward middle age. At this stage, they seek privacy from adults, and that is largely because of their difficulty in grasping the physical and sexual changes going on with their bodies. For 12 through 14-year-olds, justice and equality are important issues in their minds, and they are beginning to think abstractly and hypothetically about issues. They can solve complex problems that have more than one variable, and they are ready for in-depth, long-term experiences. These children want to explore the world beyond their own community, and so an emphasis on world missions and service to others is a very important part in dealing with these children. The final group is our high school campers. These campers are from 15 to 18 years old. Physically, they are very concerned about their body image because they are seeking the approval of both the opposite sex as well as the peers of their own gender. There's a smaller range of size and maturity among their peers, and these teens have a realistic view of the limits of their own bodies. The boys love tests of strength and will constantly be challenging one another to see who is the strongest, the fastest, can jump the farthest, etc. Girls, on the other hand, prefer skill and coordination. Rhythm games, balance activities, and the such have a much stronger pull for the girls at this age. 15 through 18-year-olds tend to romanticize sexuality, but they are beginning to move toward a realistic understanding of relationships between the sexes. They are searching for intimacy in their lives, though they often don't understand what the proper parameters and boundaries of that intimacy is, and they may need help in understanding those things. They can commit to follow through with service, and so get their buy-in on tasks that need to be done, allow them to take that responsibility, and then expect them to follow through. They desire respect from those that are above them. They also desire to have responsibilities given to them. These teens are apt to reject goals that are set by others and renegotiate terms, so don't be surprised when they challenge you regarding a decision that you have already made. These teens also see adults as fallible, and they are very well able to see through the smoke screens that are often put up by adults trying to cover their mistakes. Emotionally, 15 through 18-year-olds are beginning to accept and enjoy their own uniqueness. They may even celebrate their differences. However, they still seek the status and approval of their peers. As a result, they look for confidence from their peers in the decisions that they make. And don't be surprised if, after making a decision, they change their mind when they realize that some of their closest friends would make a different decision. They're just beginning to develop their own set of values and beliefs, and so they need help with understanding and owning their belief system, and they may ask questions about why something is right or wrong. Help them to understand those underlying purposes. These teens are ready for multiple roles, and they are very introspective, thinking deeply about themselves, about the life situations that they face. Though teens tend to be risk takers in many areas of life, at this stage of life they tend to take fewer emotional risks. They are looking for stability and safety in their emotional center. Finally, intellectually, these 15 through 18-year-olds are able to master abstract thinking. They've been dealing with that in school, and so allow them to think through complicated and non-concrete issues as you work with them at camp. They can imagine the impact of their present behavior on their future. They enjoy demonstrating their acquired knowledge, and so don't be surprised if they constantly barrage you with some new fact that they have understood. These teens can consider many perspectives of an issue, and they may hold a wide variety of perspectives as they think through new and different things. Teens love to create new possibilities from information and use this to your benefit, as you can present them with a challenge and allow them to think through how to meet that challenge. These older teens also lose patience with meaningless activity that is given to them, so help to make sure that the activities that they do have a purpose and that they recognize what those purposes are. These are the teens who will be the next level of leaders at camp, at church, and in the community, and this is the stage at which you can help them to become those leaders. Thank you for working with these young people at camp, and please remember to act your age.